This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick, what's going on?
Okay, hey, John. It's like, it's like those of you with decent memories will probably recall how I ended the last podcast saying that I was going to talk about the end of DC Vertigo, and because after DC shut down the imprint after almost 3 decades a couple weeks ago, I figured now would be a good time to talk about all the good memories like I have associated with that imprint because there are lots. And then something happened last week that just completely stole the thunder and the focus out from doing that kind of podcast. Because this is something that, well, I'm still coming to grips with this because I just was not ready for this to happen at all. And as you can probably guess, I'm talking about the end of The Walking Dead. And wow, it's like I mean, there were news articles going around about how issue 183 it's gonna be big. It's like literally and figuratively, just the fact that it was going to herald some important developments for the series as a whole, and it was also going to be an oversized, square-bound 71 page issue, which you think, okay, but Kirkman and Adlard have done exercise issues before. Like the issue after All Out War was a double-sized issue, as I said, the status quo, for the series going forward after that. So I just figured, okay, well, hey, they're just doing another oversized issue as we move into the next arc as the series builds towards issue 200. Now, I had seen all these spoiler warning bits on Bleeding Cool, my comic news site of choice, and unfortunately, it's like I did my best to avoid getting spoiled about to try and avoid getting spoiled for some of the events in the previous volume. Now, okay, I guess in case you weren't sure by the text attached to the description of this podcast, but there's going to be full spoilers for the final episode of this, of The Walking Dead for this podcast, because it's like when all the spoiler stuff starting to come out around issue 191, I figured, okay, I'm not going to pay attention to it. I can avoid this. Like, even if someone important died, maybe I can avoid this. Before the next volume comes out, like at the beginning of August. Nope. Much of the same way that Glenn's death was spoiled for me back in issue 100. It's like it was eventually made clear to me that issue 191 was where Rick died. So that was disappointing. But it's like the fact that Rick died wasn't truly a really bad something really depressing for me, because it's like for a series that prided itself on being unpredictable and killing people off when you least expect it, the natural end of that line of thinking is that you have to kill Rick off at some point. And in fact, I was even theorizing at some point during a while back that maybe Rick, that the series was even preparing for that, because there was one volume where Rick only appeared for a couple pages, and I thought, hey, if, this means that if Rick was only in here for a couple pages, I mean, he's not really necessary to as a figurehead for the series. I mean, yeah, he's always been first among equals for the for the cast, but it's the series has a very deep bench in terms of interesting supporting characters, from Michonne to Eugene, to Maggie, Carl, Aaron, Jesus, and even newer characters like Mercer and Princess. There's enough interesting characters and and plot lines associated with them to to keep things going, even in the event that Rick died. And I was really looking forward to seeing that happen after after Rick's death. Just the idea that, okay, well, now we're going to see all these people just like carry on. It's like and hopefully like keep promoting Rick's ideals of a of a better world, one where we didn't have have to hold on to the hate against each other, where even if like there were hard choices that needed to be made, these are the right hard choices that even though people had to die because of them, they ultimately led to better things going along, coming after that. And that's what I was looking forward to seeing. And when we got that, and I was trying to avoid spoilers about 193 because I figured, okay, well, it's probably going to be something about how Negan is going to come back to to playing a role in the series. That's what the solicitation text had indicated, and even in the final letter column to 192, Kirkman basically says, "Hey, it's like who are we going to focus on now? I'll give you one guess, you fucking fuckers." So, but then issue 193 comes out, and like I said, I try to avoid all the spoiler stuff, but then as I'm reading through, as I'm just visiting IGN, it's on Tuesday, as I normally do on a regular basis, I notice one of the articles is saying, "Final issue of The Walking Dead ships today." What? Wait, what do you mean final issue of The Walking Dead? No, they've already got like 3 other issues after this listed. It can't be the final issue. Click. Oh fuck. It is the final issue. God damn it. It's like if I sound angry, it's because it's like in the years since Blade of the Immortal wrapped up, it's like that was always my go-to series 4 being this is the best series published today, the series that I thirsted after each new volume, and I wanted to know what was going to happen next. After Blade of the Immortal wrapped up, I was like, well, what do I have to point to and say this is the best series being published today? To be perfectly honest, for me, The Walking Dead did fill that role, because basically ever since the end of the prison arc back in issue 48, the series has consistently felt like the work of someone who is fully aware of the tropes in your average zombie movie or zombie story, and then thought about, okay, what can I do to get around them? It's and there's always this wonderful Kirkman's work always felt like he was trying to find ways to do things differently. Sometimes that involved lots of people dying suddenly. Sometimes it even involved erring on the side of hope, such as when we found out about how Eugene knew how to make ammo in the wake of Glenn's death, and what should have been a morally devastating, emotionally devastating thing that basically leaves you going well, how can we go on after this character is dead? Well, here, he's giving you a reason right here. It's and even though there's been all sorts of awful things happening to these characters over the course of the series, it's always been about the civilization they've built in Alexandria. And also going on to the current arc of the Commonwealth has always been about the rebuilding of society. Yes, there are setbacks. Yes, there are fights with people who don't share their ideas, but the focus more has always been towards rebuilding. And ultimately a hopeful it's always been a hopeful trajectory for the series. Regardless, some people will criticize the TV series specifically for being an exercise in wallowing in misery, and they're not wrong, really. But but the comic book series always thought like took a look at the cliches and it's like try to find different ways to do things. Basically, it's like it was aware of what had been done before and wanted to do things differently. Didn't always do things perfectly, like this business with Dwight in the next to last volume, where I felt that that Dwight may have had some of the right ideas about like starting a revolution, but he was just so fired. He was just like so fired up to a ridiculous extent that it just kind of felt like Kirkman was just like trying to rustle up drama for the sake of it, rather than just having it be a sensible development from his character. I mean, he tries to walk back a bit in the last set of issues, but it's still something that kind of bothered me. But overall, I mean, it's like this. I mean, just the fact that that the series is over now. I don't know. It's like I am kind of. It does kind of bother me a lot because. I mean, not just because Kirkman wasn't playing fair with us by fake soliciting issues 194 through 196 to keep us in the dark. But hey, it's not going to tell you when it's like when the it's like when the series is actually going to end. We're just going to like spring it on you all at once. And while he mentions in his postscript that that he feels that this sense of surprise was like essential to the core of the series, I can understand that. But at the same time, there's trying to surprise people through through something that happens in the story, and act and outright lying to them. So that was kind of just that was annoying. That was disappointing, really. I mean, to the fact that one of the things that first occurred to me after I heard about the end of the series was, believe it or not, an episode of Pinky and the Brain. It was this episode called Puppet Rulers, where the Brain's idea for world domination this time was to earn the love of children by becoming a children's show star, so that in 30 years or so, when they became adults, they'd want to hand over the rule over the world to him because he was such a beloved part of their youth. And this plan goes off perfectly, without a hitch, to the point where after they've achieved stardom and at the height of their fame, Brain basically announces, okay, we're going away for a while, but we'll be back eventually. And then he goes into cryo freeze for 30 years. And then when he comes back, and his plans to cash in on the adoring love of his fans, well, before they're ready to hand over the keys to the world to him, they want him to pay their therapy bills for running out on them, at this crucial point in their childhood, because they were so traumatized by how he disappeared. That's honestly kind of how I feel about this end of The Walking Dead. It's just the fact that this is something that was, for me, was still firing on all cylinders. It's and that I thought had plenty of directions to go, but according to Kirkman, he just felt that any extension at this point was just going to be, just filler or redundant. So, but how are the actual how do the actual less issues go? Well, it's for issues let's see, 187 through 192, it feels just like another volume of the series. It's I mean, it's it basically the thrust of these issues. I mean, is the idea that things in the Commonwealth are coming to a boiling point, where Mercer finally makes his play to basically say he's fed up with how Governor Milton has been handling things, and after he makes his play to his fellow guardsmen, well, Milton's second in command, Lance, comes upon him and and imprisons him for this. Now it's like I like the conversation that Mercer has with Milton once he's in prison, and he basically says how she says how disappointed she is in how he is, and he just says you've never done anything for me. You've basically just had me guard your ass without a moment of thanks. I put my life in danger for you and your shit for brain son so many times, and you've never shown me any ounce of gratitude for it. And it's like at that point you're kind of like, okay, yeah, it's like Mercer's clearly in the right here, and we are clearly hitting some kind of confrontation here. And yeah, it's like Mercer's eventually broken out of prison by Dwight's ex-girlfriend, and it's like, and that's basically kind of the start of almost outright fighting in the in the Commonwealth. Now there's some stuff with Dwight and his and his girlfriend out in the train yards that it's kind of like it's busy teasing another potential death there, and also stuff with Princess deciding that she doesn't want to be part, that she doesn't that she can see the way things are going in the Commonwealth and she wants to take off, and also various people from Alexandria and the Hilltop heading over to the Commonwealth because they get the feeling that some bad shit's about to go down. Now, but basically all comes to a head after Mercer is broken out, and he does manage to seize control of things, but unfortunately it's like he soon realizes he's in way over his head here, and that the first person he can turn to is the one person who's people actually like around here, and that's Rick. Now, it's a credit to how Kirkman's handled Rick, that Rick does his best to try and keep the peace, and he gives a really good speech, in issue 191, basically refuting the premise of the series, where he basically stands up and says, "We are not the Walking Dead," because because for all its flaws, the Commonwealth represents civilization. It's the fact that we can come back from from all this stuff that the zombie outbreak has foisted upon us, and I like that. It's Rick has shown a general unerring awareness of what to do. It's of the right thing to do. It's always hard. People usually wind up dying because of it, but there's always the right thing to do. And then there's a nice bit where Carl asks him about it, and he just basically says, it's just a feeling, and that's the last thing that he says to Carl, because that night, Sebastian Milton, pissed to hell about how Rick has basically taken his family's power away from them, comes in and basically winds up shooting him in his bed. And next morning, when Carl comes to visit him, he sees his dad zombified and just reacts on instinct. It's rough, but man, it just feels like this is how it had to happen. I mean, for all that Rick did, it's this is kind of how his story had to end. It's for all the good that he did, eventually it was going. It's for someone who does that as much good as he did. It's there were you could just have him keep doing that over and over again, or his luck could just run out at some point, and he was just going to piss off just the wrong person at that point, and that's basically what happened here. It's like, I mean, like I say, it's sad to see Rick go. I mean, it's like I didn't want to see him die. I mean, like I know that, yeah. I don't know, I just said that he could be replaced. It's not that I wanted to see him replaced. I'm just saying that it's possible, and that's something that it's like I wanted to see what the series would have looked like, after his death. It's like, but on that note, we do get a glimpse of that in the final issue, 193, which basically is a 10, 15, 20-year time jump from the previous issue, and we catch up with a now adult Carl Grimes. It's like now married to his childhood friend Sophia, surprise, and they have a daughter together, Andrea. And the first thing we see is this zombie approaching this house, and then someone just jumps out, like runs out and just slices its head off with a sword. And before you can say, "Hey, is that Michonne?" Nope, it's Carl. It's like, and and we found in short order that this is like the first zombie. It's like anyone seen on the loose in a while. But the whole reason it's there is because Maggie's son, Herschel, well, he kind of makes his living now doing a stage show about the Walking Dead with real live zombies, and one of them he actually let go, and it's like, and to give you an idea of how far the civilization has progressed back into normalcy, well, now Herschel is pressing charges against Carl for destruction of personal property. That's right. The zombie threat has receded so far into the background that that Herschel can actually claim like these zombies to be his personal property, and Carl has just destroyed one of them. And it's like, hey, apparently like these zombies go for a lot on the fair market. So after some last minute intervention from President Maggie, it's like Carl has to find a zombie to replace the one he destroyed from Herschel, and on one that should provide a nice through line for Carl to go and meet up with go on a nice road trip to meet up with some of his other notable characters from the series, while finding a zombie to replace the one he killed. It doesn't quite play out that way. It's like in fact, the series culminates in there's just a big courtroom showdown in front of Judge Hawthorne. Wink, wink. It's like as Carl has to explain his actions, but we also get to check in with characters like Lydia, and Eugene. It's like to find out how they're doing. It's like, and also observe that as the world is on its way back, it's a very much Western type world. Like it's kind of like it's like the frontier is back again, and I thought that was okay. That's cute and all, but it's like I kind of figured there'd be more focus on trying to reclaim the established tech, like getting cars working again, because it's like instead of a intercontinental, doing the whole intercontinental railroad again, like maybe doing the intercontinental highway or something. But I don't know. It's like I said, the final issue basically shows that civilization is on its way back. Now they're talking about they do mention it about how there's a big group pocket of civilization on the West Coast that is going to be joined by this railroad. Oh, and there's also apparently outside. There's apparently everyone lives inside what's called the safe zone. So there's apparently unsafe zones where the dead are still the dominant force out there. And also, hey, well, what's Negan been up to all these years, huh? So, I mean, it offers a nice snapshot of of the series in its current It's like in its current, it's a nice snapshot of the world in its current state, and basically it lets you know that, hey, everything that was suffered, it was a tragedy. I mean, they call the era that the series took place in the trials, and there's also lots to talk about how Rick Grimes, like help bring this era about. And it's like, and while you could basically kind of write some of this stuff off as hagiography, or it's like, and also like with Carl talking about how it's like, hey, when I see a zombie, it's like I'm gonna kill it. When I see a walker, I'm going to kill it, because they didn't have words for zombies, and you kind of like view this as kind of like like the younger generation doesn't know what they missed and all. And yeah, I can understand. I can understand that kind of complaints. But at the same time, though, as someone who's read through all 32 volumes of The Walking Dead, I basically kind of feel like I've lived all this stuff with them. So even if I can understand where the complaints were coming from, it's like I'm more than willing to side with Carl's take on this. And the final pages, it's like as he reads to his daughter Andrea about the trials, it's like I think it's a fitting end. And there's other things I liked about this as well, like such as when Judge Hawthorne basically cites the back cover text to the back cover text to every volume of The Walking Dead, when she cites this in her decision as to what to do about Carl. It's like that feels earned. And when you find out that it's basically like attached to a statue of Rick outside the courthouse, it's like, and then Carl notes that, yeah, it's like, my dad wouldn't have wanted this big statue where he's just like having his stump calling down lightning. It's like, but then he realizes, it's like he lived it. They shouldn't have had to fake it like that. But it's like it's not a perfect ending, but it is a worthy one. And it's like I am disappointed that the series is ending like the way it is, but I guess I can't really be angry at Kirkman because just reading his postscript, it's like he's probably feeling a lot more anxiety about this than I ever could. Because there's one bit that got me when he talked about how when he finally wrote the last page of the series, and he didn't feel like this like he could rest like I'm done. It's like I can lay down my burdens. No, he said that once he was done, all he could feel was dread. Like, what have I done? It's like, because Kirkman, I think the main reason I think he's ending it now is because he was just terrified of having the series overstay its welcome. Like he was absolutely willing to chase that 300 issues of a 300 issue run that that Cerebus had, but that it's kind of like the holy grail of all indie comics. Fuck you, Spawn. But in the end, he just couldn't do it, and he just figured he just wants to end things while it's things are going on a high note. And it's like, for me, it's like it was much easier to accept this for Invincible, just because of the fact that hey, to end a superhero comic, rather than just have it extend on forever or be done by a different creative team. It's like that felt like truly in line with the Invincible's unpredictable spirit. Just basically doing the stuff that you could never get away with in a modern mainstream superhero comic from Marvel or DC. But with The Walking Dead, that always felt like this was going to be that this is a series was going to go on forever. That it's like it wasn't going to be about like fighting zombies every issue, or it's like, but it was just going to be about like the rebuilding of humanity. It was just going to end every major arc was just going to like focus on them getting like incorporating a bigger part like of it's like of the world back together again. So it's like I just kind of wanted to see that, since I was waiting to see like what happens when they start getting in touch with like some of the places some of the countries from across the sea. It's like what was going to be like when they got in touch with like someone in Africa or Europe or China. It's like, and how are they going to find out how they dealt with the zombie apocalypse? That's kind of stuff I was always expecting to see. You could just keep getting bigger and bigger from there, but so I guess we're not going to see that. So I'm not saying he should have done that, but if Kirkman says that that he couldn't find a proper way to extend this, then after 32 volumes, it's like I owe enough to him to give him the benefit of the doubt. But just saying that if he wants to give us a follow-up series in a couple of years' time that shows us what Negan got up to, it's like in the wake of the wake of Rick's death, then I'll be there for that. Just saying. So yeah, it's like it's sad to see The Walking Dead come to an end, but it's like the end we got, it was a worthy end. Not a perfect end, but definitely something where I feel that Kirkman and Adlard stuck the landing with. So great job, guys. Great job, with all the series, and it's like it's something that I'm proud to keep loaning to my friends and family. It's like to show them hey, this is an example of a quality comic book series. So though I still have to tell my sister that the series is ending. Oh wow. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Well, John, it's like if you're still there, it's like any thoughts on your end about all this?
Well, was it ever established that other countries even got this? I guess they would have. Okay, it was, huh? Okay. Well, it's an interesting question because it's sort of like, okay, so let's say, okay, so it's a worldwide one. There's always the pockets of humanity that either did or did not get affected by it that wouldn't have been communicated. So this always presents something new and interesting, right? So there's just a lot of possibilities, and maybe the main series has ended, but maybe there's room to put in a few one shots here and there. You never know.
Yeah, it's like, it's like I would absolutely not be averse to Kirkman revisiting another part of this world in a few years down the line, but I don't know. It's like, I guess it kind of depends on what the future has for him, because I know he's busy with other series. He's busy wrapping up Outcast, and he's got Oblivion Song going at the same time now. And he's apparently sold this idea to Apple, apparently about a apocalyptic series where but he sold the international rights to this series to Apple, apparently about the idea being there's just been an apocalyptic event, and it's going to show you how everyone in all the different regions that have licensed it are going to respond to it. So basically, the U.S. version will be different from the version in Europe than the version in, say, China or Japan.
Yeah. Well, regardless, yeah. Well, maybe it's a good thing that it's ending then. I don't know. I guess, I understand it's like Calvin and Hobbes, right?
Yeah, well,
End on a high note.
that's a good point. It's like it's a good comparison. Like I know Watterson wanted like the series to end while it was still vital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, what do you have for us next time?
Next time, let's get this time. I need to place an order because it's basic. I'm going to check in and see how Brian Michael Bendis has been adjusting to his new home at DC. Both of his holy crap, Bendis is doing creator-owned series again. Whoa!
Oh.
And also he's doing Superman as well. So we'll see. So we'll see how that's going.
Okay. We'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, later.
Bye.